Compliance is a enterprise-wide challenge with many, many different types of risks we're trying to understand. Just looking at our risk list, there were at least 24 items on that list, and you and I spent a great deal of time getting that down to 24 because we had 100 that we could have put on the list. So finding a single tool that's going to help you address all of those things is not going to happen. And so how do compliance officers look to tools that are going to help them make reaching their audience that much easier? And I think they're starting to move towards those types of tools.
I would agree with that, and I think that a couple of the dynamics that are influencing that. One, there's certain things you can't do effectively without technology. You can't manage a large employee base and tracking whether they've completed the training they're required without a learning management system, without some sort of tracking mechanism. And that isn't specific to compliance, that's across the board. And now tools are starting to be more and more available and useful to do that. So I think there's a rising of the tide between what companies are wanting to use technology for and what's becoming available. And I think that will continue to go like this.
Yeah, I think the tools continue to get better and better.
One of the things that we can look ahead to is how are companies starting to use social monitoring, not only for their consumer preferences and making their product decisions and things like that, but how do they use social monitoring as a way to provide them indicators of compliance risk or integrity risk or even broader behavioral risk in the organization. One of the things that was interesting on that from a risk standpoint is also the opportunity side. So this is one area where we saw a big difference between the UK and the US. UK using very, very prominently have indicated that they're using social media and scanning social media as part of their pre-hiring, which I found really surprising and interesting. US not so much yet, despite the fact that the US companies are very high on having social media policies, so kind of restricting how their current employees can use social media, but not necessarily using social media as a tool in the pre-hiring realm. I mean, one thing anecdotally I think we can say that we've seen everywhere, and we saw in the statistics, is that social media is being considered as one of the tools in the toolbox for communication. And so, expect to see more of that. And even when we communicate this way, we'll be communicating through social media because that is the way that the workforce of today communicates and gets information.